All right, right after I said let's go on. I'm going to try to press through and get the rest of this pile. But I don't want to be in too big of a hurry either. If I have 3 videos, then I'll be able to share 3 links. And if 3 people, if 30 people consider the links and watch them, my goal is accomplished. Uh, it's just because the tech giants are so against uh, freedom. They regulate it. So if we can help and we do our own part by sharing manually, look at this tip. Crazy, right? Have to write in. Then we can do a good job in fighting. Here's a great point right here from a site that doesn't come up in that often at all, called Sacred Sands. Look at that point. No, some of my sites really don't. I mean, you're going to have patience if you're going to collect artifacts. It just doesn't literally get farmed much. God knows why. They don't need to, I guess. Some of the sites that I have, I mean, it is industrial. They just absolutely hand over fist farm it every single time they get an opportunity to get a crop in and get it out. Some don't, though. From site 2 right there, just a basic point, but you can see the craftsmanship on that point. And Sugar-Quartz is resilient. Transferring the piles, right? My 3s. What do we have here, right? It's just endless. And it's out there in the ground, absolutely endless. Here's a point. Site 2, Site 5, Site 5. And these 2 came from Mecca. Probably about 150 yards apart. This is from the backside in the wash. Sugar-Quartz. Have you ever asked yourself how they handle, or if, or when, and depending on who the criminal is, who is in trouble for treason or sedition, who has worked for maybe a senior official in the FBI or the CIA or what have you? And listen, you might be surprised, but don't be surprised if Indian Trace as a channel just disappears and is deleted, because you're not supposed to know all this. You're not supposed to even think about how they might handle and prosecute somebody from the CIA or FBI who is a high-level ranking official who's committed sedition or treason, and how they try them. They can't try them in the open court with a jury in the United States of America. There is a way that it's happening and been happening, and the news will be released. So that's why I share links as well to help people understand. It's crazy, but it's good. I believe freedom is winning, and I believe that God and His Son, they'll return. They're going to return to a glorious church, which is a mature spiritual people who understand what's going on and who have done a good job to fight and secure. Listen, America is the last best hope for freedom. I told the fellow at church I was chatting with, look at this G10 point from Mecca. I love it, one of my favorites right here. I told him, listen, if America fails, if it goes dark, if we allow invasion from our southern border, and it is an invasion, it offends people. It would probably offend my own relatives if they would just look into the details of who's paying for these caravans, paying for them to come up, paying for their food, even paying for them to have haircuts. It's disgusting. Why? So that they can slam their way into this country illegally, undocumented, and live any way they please. Listen, you and I don't live any way we please. And if they come in and they're undocumented, there's a lot of benefits they'll get that my own sons don't get as citizens. Oh my gosh. I know that President will talk about that tonight. He's a man of his word, so there's a lot happening. This is an incredible point from Hidden Hill. I want to, and there is no apology, I will say this. I know there's a lot of people out there that get, look at all that Sugar-Quartz. My word, they get furious with me talking about politics. A couple big points here. Here's a point from Notchville, of course, indicative. I don't find a lot of Sugar-Quartz at Notchville, though. This is a smoker. but they get mad. They get mad if I talk about politics and it doesn't really agree with them. All I say is just study, you know, and when we know the truth will set us free. And I study. I often correct myself, saying, you know, I think I might have been wrong on that. And the people that I post links to, they're humble. And they've many times put corrections out or whatever, but they're not trying to deceive. They're not trying to lie. They're not trying to control, which there is a huge part of a political party that are trying to deceive. They're trying to lie. They're trying to hurt people. And that's unacceptable. Unacceptable. What a pile, right? It's craziness. Here's a point. Sugar-Quartz from the clay pot. Mercy, right? Oh, my word. So, if I can inspire, whether it's you, Cameron, and you're young, you're ready to be an activist, and my son's on fire, my oldest son, he's a political dynamo, he's a millennial, he's before a millennial. I mean, he's getting ready to graduate college, but he's interested in what's happening. And that's the start, because I think that if you love goodness, kindness, temperance, meekness, self-control, if you love these things, see, there's a certain group of people, look at this, this is somebody's favorite, I know Rob loves that, Hardaway. If you love those things, well, if you seek the truth, you're going to find it. If you listen tonight and you listen to the State of the Union and you watch it, there's truth there that you'll see, and there's falsity and deception and disgusting expressions, political expressions, guests that will be invited who in an obscene way should not have been invited to be guests. I won't even mention different parties. It's not about party, it's about nation. It's about being proud of our nation. And people say, well, would you say you're a nationalist? I said, what have you been listening to? Mainstream news media? Of course I'm a nationalist. I mean, how stupid of a question that is. Of course I love my nation. I love the United States of America and the freedom I grew up with, running in the woods and fishing the ponds, and my father working whatever job he chose he wanted to work. My mother as well, and educating the way they wanted to, and teaching us religion or family values the way they thought was right. Of course, I'm a nationalist, because the United States of America is a great nation that should be passed on. And if you like the United States of America, then come and be a part of the United States of America. And you're going to hear that from the president tonight. But the people are really mad at him not about that. They're mad at him because he puts pressure on relationships with other nations to make them work. Because he puts pressure on the Federal Reserve to be decent, or we're going to fix it. And that's another reason why there are powers that be that do not like my solicitation of you to try to look into this stuff. They don't want the common man because they'd rather think you're stupid. They'd rather try to prove that you're dumb. That's a great point from the lookout right there. I'm trying to move forward and keep these all about certain things. That's just, these are great. Here's a great point. You'll never guess where I found that. Yep, Site 5. Old Faithful. Same as this point, I'll bring it back out. Interesting, right? But the bases are very uniquely different. That could separate them by 200-300 years. I have no idea. They're archaic, and it could separate them by 400 or 500 years. It's craziness. So there's an untold amount of issues that are good, constitutional, freedom, national issues that the president has contemplated for 30 years. Go back in time, listen to him in interviews. He hasn't changed. He is not who the mainstream news media have tried desperately to make you believe he is. And I don't care. It's not that I love him and I think he's the greatest guy in the world. It's not that at all. It's his platform. It's the platform for our nation that I support. It's the future for my sons that I am desperate to at least do my part with the resources we have. This is a nice scraper and Sugar-Quartz, isn't it? From Site 5. Quartz inclusions in it. Love it. Love it. Don't even know where to put all this stuff. Couple finishing points. One from the jump off. It's a great point. What they could do with Sugar-Quartz, right? Man, take a look at it. Mercy. That's all I have to say is mercy. And then look at this from Hidden Hill. Guilford. So I'm about done. I'm about off my soapbox, and I didn't mean it to be that way. But like I said, if 1, 2, 3 people are inspired to check out a link and then they move forward and start to do their own homework and do their own studying and let the truth that they know be established in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, that they have the company of many counselors, which you'll see in my links and my subscriptions. I don't just listen to one alternative news feed or one person who studies and shares what they study. No. People will be shocked. It's not just the president and his ideas. It's those who voted for him and those that support him, who are unseen, unnamed, who are behind him. It's those patriots in the NSA, in military intelligence, who have been supporting him for 6 months before his election to protect him. Look at that point, will you? That's a great Guilford. So, that's my State of the Union, right? My word. So I just wanted to give you a good pile. I can get those in the frame here better. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I see the frame of the camera. I appreciate everybody tuning into Indian Trace and just checking these out and considering what I say. If anything, study to show yourself approved. A workman that needs not to be ashamed. Hope you find that there.